This game is what I've been waiting for intelligent systems to produce for the past 15 years. That's no word of a lie. This feels like it picks up exactly where Paper Mario and A Thousand Year Door leaves off. But does this spiritual successor live up to the heights that the previous games reached? It isn't one big nostalgia trip before you get into it. It makes a lot of genuine improvements and design choices that reflect on its smart and well thought out gameplay. Paper Mario was a breath of fresh air on the N64. Introducing the series like a spiritual successor to Super Mario RPG on the SNES, the term action RPG is used, and while it is a turn-based RPG, it adds the fact that your actions affect how much damage you deal or take in the combat. Along with a unique art style and excellent writing, it quickly garnered a following, and in 2004 we got the masterpiece. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, building on everything that came before it, more fleshed out combat staged like a play, a fleshed out story and setting with one of the most memorable overworlds of Rogueport. It really went hard on the paper aspect, with upgrades coming in a form of an origami curse. Genuinely, everything about this game is a masterpiece. It's one of the funniest games you'll ever play, it's one of the funnest games you'll ever play. Super Paper Mario, on the other hand, was interesting, so mechanically different from the previous games, with the turn-based aspect gone entirely and focusing on more like a puzzle platformer RPG. While this wasn't everybody's cup of tea, it had brilliant writing and an interesting world and mechanics that seriously I would love to see fleshed out into another sequel on that type of game. Although it was very far removed from the Paper Mario series. There weren't many identifiable elements from the Mushroom Kingdom, which is a juxtaposition to the Color Splash and Sticker Star games, but Super Paper Mario really was actually quite a good game, but it was quite hard to follow the Thousand Year Door. Now, Sticker Star and Color Splash are dreadful, both made worse for each other's existence. A fundamentally broken RPG system, heavily underutilized sticker and colour mechanics, a map that is broken into levels, ruining the immersion it has as an actual interwoven world, boring and by-the-books, uninspired story, far less humorous or clever writing than previous games. All the enemies are the most basic Mario variants, with the focus on saving endless copies of Toads. There are no companions, so you're left with Mario to react to things, with him being the most characterless he's ever been, and boss battles that are unwinnable without picking up a random item you can miss on the way to the boss battle. And if you do pick up the item, the boss battle is pathetically easy. So it's been fair to say the series has taken a nosedive in recent years. The people at Moonsprout Games clearly have passion and love for the first couple of games. It oozes through every facet of Bug Fables. But what is so fantastic is that it isn't reveling in how great the Thousand Year Door is. It's its own game, with its own specific improvements and spin on the mechanics that I feel flourish from the fact that it isn't using the Mario brand. The gameplay and the design of the whole world isn't just put in there as that's what Paper Mario did. No, this is thoroughly thought out. Mechanics were designed and implemented with how they would mesh together in both story and gameplay, which is really refreshing. Well, let's dive in. Bug Fables is set in the land of Bugaria, a land of bugs which is home to a magical plant called the Everlasting Sapling, which supposedly grants eternal youth. A kingdom of ants was established by a previous good, kind queen, Elizant. With the hopes of finding this plant, an adventurers guild was set up. Quite a few years in the future, and the kingdom is flourishing, and the new queen, who the heroes have a bad feeling about, opens the door to all insects in the hopes for more capable adventurers to find the relics and secrets leading to the Everlasting Sapling. This brings together Kabu and V to work together for mutual benefit to explore and find a relic hidden in a dangerous cave. Within 5 minutes, you have the backstory to the world, the characters are all introduced, they have their motivations set out in front of them, a basic move tutorial that is really quick and easy to understand. Bang, you're going towards the cave. Game is started. The great thing that I really love about this game is that a lot of the nuance of the mechanics are taught through gameplay. You start against your standard Goomba type enemy, and the enemy is quite easily defeated. The next enemy you encounter is a flying enemy, which shows that it can't be attacked by Kabu and only V can hit it with her boomerang, leading to it falling and Kabu being able to attack it. Then you come across a group of enemies which teach you the fact that Kabu will only target the first enemy on the ground. The system is quite brilliant in that it allows you to change the order of the attackers at any point with no cost. The only drawback which is clearly shown is that the characters further towards the back deal less damage, but are also much less likely to take damage. So it shows that having your party in the proper order is important. You can change the order of who goes in front or back at any point, and you can also change the order of who does their first attack at any point. It's so free and fluid and allows for a lot of tactical thinking. Moving on, in the cave you'll find enemies that have armour and spikes which get flipped if Kabu attacks, making them much weaker when V hits them. Clear advantages to both characters' moves. The passive moves outside of battles are introduced with Kabu being able to cut grass and V being able to throw her boomerang. I love that when characters learn new passive moves, they directly correlate to the moves they can use during combat. It doesn't introduce everything at once, so you aren't overwhelmed, and it gives each aspect enough time to be fully fleshed out. It doesn't overly explain everything with text boxes. It respects your intelligence and lets you experience and figure things out yourself. We meet the first boss, show that we aren't strong enough yet through gameplay, and then find the third party member, Leaf. He can use ice magic, which is effective against plants, and you will later find out unearths buried creatures in battle. V can hit any enemy no matter where they are, even if they're flying, yet have no armor piercing effects on the boomerang. Leaf can hit any enemy on the ground, no matter where they are, without armor piercing effects, yet can unearth grounded enemies and also deal extra damage to those susceptible to the cold. Kabu can only hit the first grounded enemy, and also flips over enemies that have armor to allow you to deal more damage to them. Eventually you meet the boss and defeat it, and it shows off more about the world and the story, enticing you to play what comes next. Now, in Chapter 2, that's where things really come alive, as Chapter 1 feels quite linear and a straight path towards where you need to go, explaining everything to you. But Chapter 2, it opens up a whole hub world in the Ant Kingdom. It shows you've got loads of different side quests, you've got loads of shops and badges to buy, and it throws loads of different things at you because you can handle it. You know the basics of the story now, you can do this. And it really feels rich and great, and really makes me want to just continue playing the game, as there's so much to sink my teeth into. This is where the big differences and advantages come into play. See, the Paper Mario franchise obviously has Mario as its hero, and the Mario world as the setting. Mario has an established character and image that is quite rigid. He is the hero, he's good, he's honest, he likes food. He isn't very deep at all as a character, which is why his party members are much more interesting characters and often react to the story on Mario's behalf, whereas Bug Fables introduces the trio of characters extremely early on, and that is it for the rest of the game. You don't collect any more party members or have any, like Final Fantasy where a character will come in 20 hours into the game. They all have their own backgrounds, motivations, secrets, personalities and relationships with each other. So the story is more interesting this way, with all of the characters having more time devoted to them. Then there's the optional quest to find out more about Leaf's history, V's past feuds and Kabu's seemingly hidden secrets. While they all interact differently, they actually feel like a party of friends and members who work together and bounce off each other, and I can tell how the characters will react to a situation before it happens, as they are fleshed out enough. The game even goes out of its way in Chapter 2 to have a festival for the characters to relax and interact in. No combat, you just learn more about them and how they have different perspectives on things. Mario will never have a character arc, yet the trio do. You can also see this in the world of Bug Area coming from a lens of a bug. Everything is massive and the biomes have objects of the world as different shelters, etc., adding charm and lore to the place. A bug lives in a discarded teacup. They eat leaves and berries and honey as their sustenance. There are rival kingdoms with neighbouring territories, like the beehive, which acts like a factory, and the long-forgotten roaches with ancient technologies. You even get a point where you can look through a telescope at everything in the kingdom, and it essentially boils down to just the side of a shed and a sand pit. It's wonderful. It's so wonderfully quaint, and yet so beautifully brilliant. It's made without any constraints, and while Paper Mario does wonders and even has the advantage to play off the established tropes and humour of its characters and settings, like Delfino mob bosses, Russian bombs, etc., it also is constrained with the settings and characters that must adhere to the image Nintendo has made for them. This isn't much of a problem in Thousand Year Door, as everything is written very well, and Rogueport is quite grimy as a world, which is an interesting angle to go with. Yet Super Paper Mario felt weirdly out of place. There wasn't much recognisable from previous Mario games in it, and so it felt almost like a game that was developed before the Mario brand was put onto it. And then the juxtaposition to this is the Colour Splash and Sticker Star games, which rely too heavily on established Mario canon, and so it feels boring and cookie cutter, without any unique ideas or creativity. So Bug Fables doesn't need to worry about this. I'm just going to rattle off things that I really love about this game. You get a hard mode straight off the bat that you can apply anytime you want. The badge system is fantastic in that you don't really get many power-ups, but you get loads of badges which you can add to make your own build. They have loads of small effects which as you level up you get the ability to equip more badges, and so you build up more strengths to your character as you level up. But it's your own build that can be changed at any point. All of the stuff you'd want from a Paper Mario game is there. It's got fun mini-games. There's so much rich content in here that I feel like I won't be bored of this game for a long time. The music is wonderful and totally fits the style of the game. The characters bounce off each other really well and all have really fun features about them, which is, that's the writing that I love to see. It's got a really cool card minigame that's very fun to play, and you can do that in your own time off. I love how the world is interconnected, and it's quite quick to walk anywhere in the world, and even then you can unlock a central ant tunnel that means you can quick travel to anywhere you want. I love that characters learn new special moves, not just through story moments, but also through side quests. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful game. Seriously, I recommend playing this. Pick this up. It hasn't got enough buzz about it. Pick this game up. This game truly is completely wonderful, and I'm sure the next Paper Mario game will not take any leaves out of this game's book. So do yourself a favour and pick this up for Christmas and play it over the holidays.